welcome back to Chatting with Charlie Live. I'm here in Manila and Charlie's there where he normally is, but I'm off on the other side of the world. Just want to welcome everyone back. We're going to talk about the August Visa Bulletin. And so, Charlie, for dates for filing, any movement? Still the same dates, right?
There was some movement for India. The India application filing dates in first, second, and third, they advanced those slightly. So that's a good sign for the Indian applicants. Everybody else stayed the same for the application filing dates.
But we still can't use it for USCIS filings, so can't use it. Yeah.
Correct. Those changes would only apply to cases being processed overseas and allows state to start contacting applicants and requesting they submit certain required information to the National Visa Center. But again, as you say, it has no impact on adjustment of status cases.
Okay, so let's go to our all chargeabilities. So still current for EB1, right? So final action date,
Right.
still current.
Yep.
And then EB2, no movement, still the same.
Correct. And it's the date stayed the same. I do think that it would have been helpful. In June, the State Department, the Visa Bulletin indicated that the rest of world's second preference final action date was going to retrogress for July. And instead, the July date actually advanced by 2 months, and it's held for August. But I think it would have been good if state had indicated why, despite their previously saying that the date was going to retrogress, it actually advanced by the 2 months. That would help with people's confidence in, what's going on. In the third preference, the date held at December 1st of 2021. That date had been in effect from October through December, but the state also indicated that a retrogression of the rest of world third preference date is likely for September, and that would be done to hold number use within the overall employment third preference annual limit.
But do you know why all of a sudden they actually advanced it, even though they said previously they weren't going to advance EB2?
No, I had speculated that, possibly they had received information that was incorrect, but I doubt, that is probably not the case. But again, that's why it would have been good if they had put some type of explanation in the August bulletin or in the July bulletin why they had this change.
Well, I guess this was kind of a happy surprise, so I guess it's okay.
Yeah, it was exactly. It's very good for the applicants, and it does indicate that the State Department in the movement of the date is actually trying to maximize number use in the rest of world employment second preference date.
Okay, and then if we look at China and the final action date trends, last month it had moved, but this month there's no movement, right?
Correct. All of the dates were held. The only question I would have, the final action dates in the employment first and second preference are very close to what they had predicted based on the establishment of the application filing dates back in the fall. But they missed on the third preference. They missed by approximately 10 months. And that raises questions why they missed the application filing date by such a significant amount and were not able to advance the China third preference date to be somewhat close to the originally announced application filing date.
Okay, and then if we look at India, we see a bit of movement, right? EB1 stayed the same. EB2 moved up by a month, and then so did EB3. So what's going on there, Charlie?
Yeah, this is this is a really good thing. Often I knew that I had numbers available in a particular category, in this instance, employment second and third, but instead of advancing the dates too early and then potentially having to retrogress them if suddenly you got a lot of demand, I would kind of wait because I knew that there was enough pending demand if once I did move the date. And that appears to be what state has done. They've decided that, okay, there is not a lot of demand with older priority dates coming in. Therefore, they can tap into the pool of people by moving both of those dates by a month. And this will allow them to maximize number use under the overall in India employment second and third per country limits, which again is a very good thing.
But overall, they've already told us in their note in D that there's going to continue to be high demand in EB3, right?
Correct. And the fact that they are going to retrogress the rest of world date should have no impact on the India third preference, employment third preference date, because the India third preference date is significantly earlier than the rest of world. So, like I said, the fact that rest of world is predicted to be retrogressed for September, that should have no impact on the India employment third preference category.
But just overall, they might even make it unavailable, right? For rest of world.
They could. I would be very surprised if they made it completely unavailable. You can move the date backwards. For example, the rest of world date is now December 1st of 2021. They could move that date back to December 1st of 2018 and have the same effect of making the category unavailable, but leave a date in place. And by doing so, that would not impact what they may need to do with India third preference in order to maximize number use.
If they brought it all the way back to 2018, is that where it was last fiscal year? I don't think so, right?
No, last fiscal year was for September, it was May 1st of 2020. So again, the date, as I mentioned earlier, the date for October through December was December 1st of 2021, and then it advanced to June. For the period of April through June, it was at November 22nd of 2022. So it is somewhat surprising that they would still have a significant amount of demand with 2021 priority dates or earlier at this point. But again, if there were petition backlog processing issues, they may still be getting large amounts of demand with early priority dates.
So do you think EB2 rest of world is going to advance? Because I have all my national interest waivers wondering what's going to happen to EB2.
I would expect EB2 to either hold, potentially advance a little bit. If they feel that they need to, use more numbers, they could potentially advance the date. But I think that EB2 should be safe at this point, given the fact that they didn't retrogress it when they said they were going to and actually advanced it by 2 months.
So overall for September, do you think the numbers are going to stay the same or are they going to retrogress?
I think that with the exception of the rest of world third preference, which is likely to retrogress, I think everything else should either hold at the August dates or potentially advance slightly.
Okay. Anything else you want to share?
The one good thing, if the rest of world third preference were to retrogress for the month of September, it is likely that state would attempt to recover in October and return the date to at least December 1st of 2021 for the month of October, when they have the full supply of fiscal 2025 visa numbers.
Okay. So we'll just have to wait and see. But that's all for us today. And we'll have our bulletin as well, where we go into a deep dive of the visa bulletin, and then also our Q&A. Anything else you want to share, Charlie, before we wrap up?
Just one thing I noticed in last month's comments, we were asked about what was going on in family.
Oh, yeah.
The rest of world family dates all were held for the month of August. This should indicate that they are approaching the annual limits. And if they do not maximize number use in the family-sponsored categories after holding the dates for August and potentially September, then that would be an area of concern, that they were not advancing dates in order to maximize number use in the family categories. While that is beneficial for the employment categories for the fiscal 2025 annual limit, because any unused family numbers from 2024 are added to the employment, it is not good for those waiting in the family line.
Yeah. So we'll just have to kinda wait and see. Thanks, Charlie. We'll talk again soon.
All right,
Bye.
take care.